Well, we now have confidence that we can bring in our logo drawing and put it into any new gCADPlus drawing. So let's have a little look at that reduced title block that we showed you earlier and see if we can recreate it. I'll change my drawing colour to red and I'll change the background using view and background colour, and I'll change it to white. That'll make things a little easier to see. Now we could draw that extremity of the title block using the line command. We can simply go line and click and head off in the direction that we want to go in. Now about this distance, and notice it's reading on the screen 149.004, so we want to use whole numbers, so we'll go 150 and enter, and because I'll exit from there, and because I didn't have the, let me just move this up a little, I did not have polar on, that line went off slightly down. If I pick it, you can see that its angle is 359. So I can fix that up by just making its angle 150. But can you see how awkward this is going to get? I have to then draw a line and jump to the end of there and go up and across. Tedious business. Much easier to use the rectangle command. So draw a rectangle, and we're asked for a start point. It wants a first corner. That's a good idea when you're making any drawing that's going to be used and imported into other drawings to have the bottom left corner of whatever it is that you are developing set at 0, 0, and the opposite point, well, we know we have to go 150, and this is where you use the relative symbol. That's the at sign. 150, say 45, and we'll see how that looks, and it's a little bigger than the other one. That's interesting. If we pick the one we started with here, can you see that its center is given to us? And what I was after is the left-hand corner. I just advise you to make sure that these are at 0.00. So what I'm going to do is pick up this and this rectangle and right-click and move. I'm going to jump to that bottom left corner there and type 0, 0. So I've actually fixed things up by moving the green original one we're working from, and it's underneath this new red one that we are developing. So our height is 42. So you can see I'm editing by just typing numbers, 42 in here. So we now have and we maybe also need to move it to its point there to 0, 0. I thought we had done that, but maybe we didn't. Maybe I inadvertently moved it. So now our red rectangle is sitting on top of the green one. The green rectangle that's underneath has a corner radius of 3.75. So to get that rounded effect, we'll make it, the radius, we'll make it 4 just to distinguish it from the other one. And they should now be slightly different there. The radius in the corner is slightly different. So it's really quite easy to start developing your drawing, which is going to contain the, let's erase, that's going to contain the logo that we developed. Let's look at some of the text in here and lines. So if we pick this line here, that's a line of length 47.16. I would much prefer that you work with whole numbers. So that line's 47, this one should be 47 as well. So we've now got our lines in. Notice that these lines are set to colour 87. You can choose whatever colour you want. But the text is much more important. So what I've done here is the text that's not going to need editing, I've put in a style of lettering called standard. And if we go to format and text styles, here's standard. It uses a very simple font called Simplex. In contrast to that, text that's going to change the client's name, I've put in style arrow. I think it's a really good idea to use, say, a text height of, whoops, not 22222, but just 2. I've just rounded that up slightly. And all of this text down here is also going to be 2. So you can use modify, match properties, and match the properties of that so that you can see the text height is just changing a little. So details of the designer and the client are put in there, and maybe that text won't need to change either, but that's up to you. So you can draw lines easily. That's a line 47 long. So to do that, you would just go draw a line. I'll put it slightly above, and we just click and move off to the right. And because the polar switch is on down here in the status line, I can just type 47 and our line goes in. So it's very easy to put lines in. It's easy to copy pieces of text. If I wanted to put the word issue in, and I would use the same font, just right click and copy it and pop it wherever you want it, and then finish it, and then edit the text by picking on the text and just edit in here. And what was that going to be? Issue. So there are no hard and fast rules about how you set things up. What I would like to see you do is to develop something like this, which has some of the flair that you use in some of your own design work. So I'm going to remove the red border that I put in by way of illustration, and I'm going to delete that, and now bring in to this title block the logo that we produced. It was a separate drawing. Now, there are a couple of ways to bring it in. We put it in the library. So we could go library, details, logo, and pick it in that way. Open it up and insert it into the drawing. And in it goes. So you pop it in and then put other details of your own phone numbers, email addresses, and so on. So there's not a lot I can do for you here, but you really want to develop something like this up yourself and then test that it works. It's a really good idea, I think. If we pick this one, it says it's now a block. I think it's an excellent idea to explode that block. So in this zone here, there are no blocks, no repetitive things. And I want to go to the blocks. So we've left one called JC logo, another one there, and simple title block. We've got the whole thing, this block. What I'm going to do is to remove all of these blocks. So we're only left with one block. And can you see that the text has been exploded? Now if I save it, we've put it into, if you look at the screen at the top here, it's in users, documents, see gCADPlus blocks, details, title blocks, and so on. Let me just show you how I saved it. We'll go File and Save As, and we just navigated it our way just like we did to the logos before, and we go into title blocks. And you can see one called JC title LCD. That's occurred because I wasn't paying attention down here. Let's get rid of the extra LCD. We'll call it JC title 2, and we'll save it. So it's now saved in a location where we can find it again in the future. I'll save and I'll close, and I'll open it up again by clicking on the recent files, what I want to try and do is to remove now that last logo, that last block, and we can now delete it. And on OK and close. So we have a title block now that's very compact. It's very small in size. Let's have a look at its size. It's only 10 kilobytes, which again is minuscule in size, and any of the internal blocks have now been removed. So we clean everything up properly because we want to use this in lots and lots of design work, and we don't want to bring rubbish with us when it comes. And the other rider is you do need to pay attention when you're going file and save as, that you don't keep adding the extension LCD, .lcd and so on to it. So I hope that helps in giving you an idea of how you might develop a block that you can use, a title block that you can use in many different drawings that you do.